In this country, there was a female knight known as the strongest. No matter how tough the opponent was, she never lost a single fight. People used to say she must be incredibly strong. But did you hear? That knight is quitting the order. At the Austrian knight's headquarters, we learned the situation. She has been suspended from the order for a while and has nowhere to go. In the meantime, two girls approach the main character. So why me, he asks. One of them is standing with another woman who says, Carlo, I have a favor to ask. I want you to look after her for a bit. Carlo, the main character, couldn't understand anything. The girl continues, specifically, I want you to live together and teach her what happiness feels like. This is the journey of our main character, who spoils the strongest knight in the capital. At the main character's estate, he tells her, this used to be my grandfather's place, but I'm the only one living here right now. She looks at him with doubtful eyes. As he opens the door, he says, I tried to get a room ready for you. Inside is a shining room filled with all kinds of luxurious items and goodies. There is a bunny plush on the bed. She picks it up and places it on the couch. As she sits on the bed, she says, I appreciate it. The main character remembers how his little sister advised him to put the bunny on the bed, saying girls love stuffed animals. Man, giving a stuffed animal to a knight, what a bad call, sister. He smiles at her and says, if you need anything else, just let me know. I'll go get it right now. She replies, I don't need anything. As long as I have a place to sleep, I'm fine. Anything else is unnecessary. The main character feels a little uneasy about this. About a year later, we see her blushing while cuddling soft toys. The main character calls her name. Alba, did you get even more of those? She looks at him and tries to hide them, saying, knock first. He replies, I did. Surprisingly, the strongest knight in the capital has settled in quite well. A year ago, when she first came, the main character used to greet her with welcome home. She would stare at him sternly. He got worried looking at her armor. She told him it was basically her casual wear and that he shouldn't worry. He thought to himself that maybe she didn't own normal clothes. He tried to help, saying, hey, want to go look at some clothing together sometime? She outright rejected him. But the main character wasn't about to give up. He offered, if you want, I could tie your hair back for you. She pushed his hand away and said with a disgusted look, don't touch me. He thought, crap, I just reacted out of habit from taking care of my sister. He apologized. Sorry, that was sudden. She replied, I am grateful to you, but don't fuss over me so much, and went inside the manor. He thought to himself, she definitely hates me. Is living together really going to work out like this? A year later, she comes towards him while he's working and sits right beside him. He asks, what's up? She says, my hair. He doesn't understand at first. She grabs his shirt, pulling him closer, and says, for a change, I want you to do it. She wanted him to tie her hair. Living together is going great for them. About a year ago, one day the main character looked at her with worry. What happened? That's an injury. She was covered in wounds. She said, oh, this? I broke up a fight. I'm a bit rusty, so I messed up a little. He told her, we need to get that treated right now. She replied, I don't want it. If I leave it alone, it will heal. He tried to explain that's not how it works, but she said, I'm taking a bath first, blushing a little as she added, just leave me be. That was a year ago, but now things are different. He is teaching her how to chop vegetables. All right, go chop the vegetables. She says, understood. He thinks it's rare for her to want to help with cooking. Her hands are shaking as she holds the knife for the first time. Not one meant for killing, but for cooking. She couldn't do it properly. He asks, are you okay? She accidentally cuts herself, a tiny cut on her hand, and starts bleeding. He rushes over with a handkerchief, saying, yeah, let me see. This is what she has become, a cute, normal girl, but still the strongest in the kingdom. We see her calling Carlo from behind. He is stunned. She asks, where are you going? He is dressed up perfectly. He sighs, oh, just a ball. It's a work thing. She says with a bit of anger, will there be women there? He replies, well, it's a ball, so of course. I'm not really feeling it either. She keeps staring into his soul. He gets an idea and asks her to come with him, but she says, no. Why would I even want you to ask that? He says, fair enough. I bet you'd look great in a dress, though. Well, I'm heading out. As he leaves, she suddenly approaches him from behind and says, hey, Don't let your eyes wander. He replies while holding her hands. I'll be back soon. A year ago, at night, he heard some noise. She was training. He asked what she was doing. She said, "Oh, just my morning training." But it was 3 a.m. For him, it was the middle of the night. He said, "You aren't a knight anymore. You could sleep in a little." She rejected the idea, saying, "No, I must always remain strong." He wondered what it would take to get her to actually rest. The present day changes everything. At 8 in the morning, she is buried in fluffy, cuddly stuff, waking up like a princess. She says, "Something smells amazing." She comes downstairs. He says, "Morning, Alba. Breakfast is almost ready." She yawns loudly, drooling a bit from the smell of food. He says she still looks pretty sleepy. A year ago, he presented her with a cake he baked, as his sister advised him that girls love sweets. He told her to help herself. She just stared at it blankly. He asked, "Not a fan of sweets?" She got up and said, "Knights have no need for treats. You should eat it yourself." I appreciate the gesture, but I will pass. But in the present day, we see her devouring that same cake like it's her last meal. He says, "Oh, that's the cake I made yesterday." She gets startled. He smiles, "Glad I made a whole one." "It's okay." She says, "I saved some for you too." He replies, "You can have the whole thing." She looks at him wide-eyed. "Oh, really?" A year back, while walking, he asked her, "Want to go for a walk? There's a path with beautiful mimosas." She came along, but the pressure was intense. As a knight, she radiated bloodlust, scaring everyone around. He thought she looked beautiful and dignified. She suddenly said, "Are you looking for an opening to attack?" He apologized and stepped behind her. In the present, they walk together peacefully. He says, "Spring is finally here." She replies, "Yeah," looking a little happy. He notices she's brightening up compared to before. He stares, then apologizes. She says, "You're staring. Unfortunately for you, I don't leave openings." A year ago, while shopping, people stared at them. A man bumped into him and left without apologizing. Alba noticed and said, "Watch out, he's dangerous," then instantly knocked him down with one punch. It turned out the man had stolen his wallet. He thanked her, but said, "Knocking a man out in public, you overdid it." She said it wasn't a big deal. He told her she wasn't acting like a knight right now. She felt a bit bad, but he added, "Anyway, thanks. You looked really cool." She thought, scolding me and then praising me. You're a weird guy. A year later, during another shopping trip, a thief tries to grab their stuff. Alba stops him, saying, "Give it back. I'll let you go." Her aura alone scares the thief away. The main character apologizes. "Sorry, I messed up again." She says, "I told you not to let your guard down." He smiles, "Thanks. You're amazing, Alba." She replies blankly, "Well, obviously." Even when facing strong opponents, she always dominated. And now, that same night is enjoying tea time, eating muffins made by the main character. He says, "There are still more." She replies, "I'm still not used to this." He says, "I think you'll fit in pretty well. Want some more tea?" It's important to take breaks. As he pours tea, the kettle slips. Alba instantly catches it, saying, "Is this part of the break as well?" He worries, "Are you okay? That was hot." She says, "You're overreacting." He insists, "No, your hands are important, especially for you." She thinks to herself, this is the first time anyone has been worried about her like that.